Good evening, and welcome to Filmwar. In the interest of cutting the shit, I suggest we make these introductions hastily. I am the caretaker here at Filmwar Manor. Come with me, and let my occult hands guide you through the rich quizzes of the macabre. You've all been placed in different rooms here at the manor, all crafted and designed to look like modern homes and dwellings. How wickedly Midwestern, wouldn't you say? But beware, these halls hold more than kitsch. As you meander through the labyrinth that lies ahead, your numbers will be cut, one by one, game by game, until only one remains. Each round's points are its own. You don't get to take them with you. Every new round's beginning will find you just as many of us find the nature of life. Pointless. The lucky soul who finds themselves alone and kicking at the end of the night will be taking home tonight's prize. Aliens on VHS! Only 2 rules, but both are quite serious, so reflect on them well. 1, there is no talk of Goonies or any Goonies-related tomfoolery in this residence. Not ever, no questions. At the first uttering of that heinous, no-good, two-bit of a hogwash word, you'll be eliminated with prejudice. The second rule, and this is by far the more important of the pair. No Brents.
Yeah, 'cause you killed him.
Let's not point the fingers of who killed who, where, and when, or why, or how.
We saw you. You turned him into a tape.
And there were other tapes. There were other people, and maybe you.
Yeah, I don't know. It was confusing, as usual.
You guys have been watching the episodes?
I watched a clip.
I can't believe this! You're advocating for the release of the man who will probably beat you all!
You gotta beat the man to be the man.
You gotta dethrone him to deep throat him.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have no idea what's going on. Who's Brent?
I had 2 rules. Just 2.
Bang, bang.
Now, Will, Tim, Greg, Ty, Kyle, Dan, Tiffany, and Brent. Prepare yourselves. First no escape from these walls. Except, of course, my way. I'm going to kill myself.
This game is called High-Low.
Round 1 of our evening is high-low. I'll name a film and you will guess whether the average rating from users on letterboxd.com is higher or lower than 3.5 stars out of 5. Everyone has a chance for a point on every question. At the end of the round, someone will be eliminated. Our first film is from 2002, The Mothman Prophecies. Whoever of you thinks the rating for The Mothman Prophecies is higher than 3.5 stars, raise thy hand. Greg doesn't get a point, everyone else does.
Sorry, Greg. Someone had to do it.
It happens.
The next film is from 2002 as well, The Ring. If you think that The Ring is higher than 3.5 stars on Letterboxd, raise thy hand. Brent, Dan, Tiff, Kyle, and Tim. You don't get points. Will, Greg, and Ty do.
Boom.
What was it? What was the rating?
3.3.
One of those tricky ones, Brent, you know.
Throw us for a loop.
The next film is from 2013, The Purge. Do you think it's higher or lower than 3.5 stars? Raise your hand if you think it is higher. Will, Greg, Tim, don't get points. Ty, Kyle, Dan, Brent, and Tiffany do.
Bang, bang.
Good.
The next film, are you paying attention? 2006, The Host. Do you think it's higher or lower than 3.5 stars? If you think it's higher, raise your hand.
I don't even know this one.
It's about a sea creature, like Godzilla. It's large and attacks cities.
Large and in charge. Of course.
Everybody's saying lower. Nobody gets a point. 3.7 stars.
That was the trick right there. I should have raised it.
That works out for me.
1999 is the year for this next film. Audition. Higher or lower than 3.5 stars? If you think it's higher, I suggest you raise thy hand. Brent and Will both get a point.
Bang, bang. Am I saying that too much?
Yes. Yes, you are.
I like it.
Run that
I'm
catchphrase
with
right
it.
on into the
I'm
ground
with
there,
it.
Brent.
It felt good when I got a point there.
How do I
It's
get out
better-
of this? How do I get out of this thing?
It's better than you doing Limp Bizkit lyrics, that's for sure. This next one is a little bit of a This next one's a little bit of a stumper from 1957. The Ed Wood classic Plan 9 from Outer Space. Originally, obviously, probably lower than 3.5 stars, but you know how hipsters are now. Do you think it's higher or lower than 3.5 stars? Raise your hand if you do. Greg and Tiff and Brent don't get points.
Woo!
This film's from 1994, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Do you think it's higher or lower than 3.5 stars? Let me see some hands. Tim and Will do not get points.
I didn't really want them.
As of right now, Tim and Greg are on the verge of elimination with only 4 questions to go.
On the bubble, boys.
2013, The Conjuring. Tim, do you think it's higher or lower than 3.5 stars?
Yeah, I'd like to think it's higher.
Tim says higher. Will, what say you?
Somehow we were talking about this at work today, so maybe that was a sign. Let's go with higher.
Will's saying higher. Greg, what say you, sir?
Lower.
Greg says lower. Ty?
Lower.
Ty says lower as well. Kyle.
Hi.
Kyle says higher. Dan.
I'm gonna have to go lower there, Bob.
Dan's saying low. Tiffany. What say you?
Higher.
Tiffany's saying higher. Going
Split the-
against her Beau's
I can feel the
decision.
divide.
Split the
And
home.
Brent, I guess we'll ask you, what do you think?
Lower, Bob.
Brent says lower. Enjoy, you don't get a point for it. Will gets a point. Tim gets a point. Kyle gets a point. And Tiffany gets a point.
Can you take me higher?
We don't sing Creed on this show. You should have been
All right, that was
following.
done.
We should have been paying attention.
I'm turning.
2019, Doctor Sleep, The Shining sequel prequel. Do you think it's higher or lower than 3.5 stars, Tim?
Oh, I'm gonna have to say lower.
Tim says low. Will, what do you say?
Low.
Will says low. Greg, what do you say? Greg says higher. Ty.
Lower.
Ty says lower. Kyle, what say you?
I love it.
Kyle says lower. Dan the
Gonna have
man.
to go lower there, Bob. Gonna have to go
Dan
lower.
saying low. Brent
Low.
saying low. Tiffany.
Lower. Yes.
Tiffany's
lower.
also saying low. Greg, the black sheep, you're the only one that chose higher, and you don't get a point. Everyone else does. This film's from 1992, the Francis Ford Coppola version of Dracula. Do we think it's higher or lower than 3.5 stars? Tiffany, let's start with you.
Oh, let's do lower.
Dan, what do you say? Do you
I'm gonna have
agree?
to go higher there, Bob. I'm gonna have to go higher in this one.
Dan's saying high. Brent, what do you say?
High.
Yeah, whatever. Kyle?
Lower.
Kyle says low. Will?
Go higher.
Will says high. Tim?
Well, I'm gonna have to say it's higher, even higher than I am right now.
Tim says high. Ed has admitted to drug use.
He's not Ringo.
Greg, what do you say? Higher or lower?
Higher.
Greg says higher. Ty. Last but not least,
Lower.
Ty says lower. It was high. 3.6 stars on Letterboxd.
Anything involving Capicola is always good.
Our last
Dick, I
question
like where your mind's
of this
at.
round. 1994. Cemetery Man, otherwise known as Delamorte Delamore. Higher or lower than 3.5 stars? What do you think, Brent?
Higher.
Brent says higher. Kyle, what do you say?
Lower.
Kyle says low. Will?
I hate to be this guy, but I was distracted by the crying baby bunnies upstairs. What film are we talking about here?
Cemetery Man, otherwise known as De La Morte.
And we're going with
De La
Lore.
Mort.
We're going with Lore.
Will says low. Tim, what do you say?
I'm gonna have to go low.
Tim's also saying low. Greg?
Higher.
Greg says higher. Ty?
Lower.
Ty says low. Dan?
It sounds lower to me, Bob.
Dan says low. Tiffany?
Haven't seen it. Gonna say lower.
Tiffany says low. It was higher. 3.7 stars on Letterboxd according to the users. Greg and Brent both get a point.
Darn it.
I needed that point.
Unfortunately, Greg, you did need that point, but it wasn't enough.
Mother.
You have 4 points. The next lowest was Tim, and he had 5. So, sorry to say this must be a due to you, Mr. Greg.
I think that sucks.
I hope to finish with you.
That would be a first.
This game is called Genre Feud.
Score updates. You're all at 0. Once again, this is the second round, and it is Genre Feud. I'll name a group of movies, and each of you will choose which film you think made the most money theatrically in the worldwide box office. Our first category is Witch Movies. The films you have to choose from are The Witches of Eastwick, Hocus Pocus, and Practical Magic. Who do you think made the most money worldwide at the box office? Tim, we'll start with you.
Oh, crap.
Greg, you're out.
I'm gonna have to go with Hocus Pocus.
Tim says Hocus Pocus. Will, what say you?
Just since we watched it just recently and with the Hocus Pocus 2 coming out, I'm going to go with that trend as well. Let's go with Hocus Pocus.
Will also says Hocus Pocus. Ty, what do you think made more money?
Same. Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus, Ty says. Kyle?
Practical Magic. It's my favorite movie.
Ever.
Of course. Brent?
Hocus Pocus.
Brent says Hocus Pocus. Dan?
I have to go Hocus Pocus as well.
Lots of Hocus Pocuses. Tiffany, what do you say?
I'm on the Hocus Pocus train too.
You're saying Hocus Pocus as well?
For sure.
No points. The Witches of Eastwick made $64 million. Hocus Pocus made 45. Practical Magic made 47. No points. Our next category is vampire movies. The films you have to choose from are What We Do in the Shadows, Dracula, Dead and Loving It, and Vampire's Kiss. Tiffany, which one do you think made the most money?
What We Do in the Shadows?
Tiffany says What We Do in the Shadows. Brent, what do you say?
I'm a Dracula.
Dan, what do you say?
I'm going to have to go with the girl's answer because I have no idea, Bob.
Kyle, what do you think made the most money?
What We Do in the Shadows.
Will, vampire movies, which do you think made the most?
Let's do Dracula.
Will saying Dracula, Dead and Loving It. Tim, what do you say?
Thanks, babe.
I've got to say What We Do in the Shadows because I like a bumbling vampire.
As do I, good fellow. Ty,
Yes.
last but not least, once again, what do you think?
Is it Goonies?
You do not have any points, but I did say you would be eliminated immediately if you said Goonies, so I must bid you adieu as well, Ty. To the graveyard with you.
Bye. Bye, Ty.
Didn't know the rules.
Ty has also ended Genre Feud for us.
Wow.
This game is called Meetings and Failures in Meetings.
6 players remain. Round 3 is meetings and failures meetings, but with a twist. I will name a movie and then 2 titles that the film was released with in foreign markets. One of them is real, one of them is fake. If you choose the real one, you get a point. Our first film is Jaws from 1975. Here are your 2 titles. Remember, I'm looking for the real one. From France, The Teeth from the Sea. Or from Sweden, Bloody Water Surprise. Tim, what say you?
Oh, to go with the teeth from the sea, because
Tim saying
French
the
people,
teeth from the
it's-
sea is the
it's how they
correct
speak.
answer.
They talk kind of funny over there.
Will, what do you say?
Let's go with BWS. Bloody Water Surprise.
BWS, Bloody Water Surprise, Will says. Kyle, what say you?
I'm gonna go with Bloody Water Surprise as well.
Or otherwise known as a menstruating swimmer.
It's that type of blue humor that got you on that television there, Brent.
Oh, he's a real peach.
Dan, what do you say?
I'm gonna have to go with the frogs version there. Shay.
Teeth from the Sea, Dan says. Tiffany, what do you say? Teeth from the Sea, Bloody Water Surprise.
I loved Bloody Water Surprise until it was ruined, so I'm gonna go teeth. Teeth from the sea.
She'll never be the same there, Bob.
Just
Aim to
as many
please.
people who saw Jaws were afterwards. Brent, what do you say?
Bloody Water Surprise.
Brent says Bloody Water Surprise. The real one was the French. The Teeth from the Sea. Tim, Dan, and Tiffany get a point.
Merci.
Our second question. The film is from 1984. Nightmare on Elm Street. And here are your two titles. The first from Germany, Dreaming of Firemen. And from France, The Claws of the Night. Will, which do you think it is?
Claws of the Night.
Will says Claws of the Night. Tim, what do you say?
Wait, what country was Dreaming of the Firemen?
Germany.
Deutschland.
No, I'm still going
I'm
with
gonna have
Claws.
to go with the. I'm gonna have to go with the claws.
Tim's also saying Claws of the Night. Kyle, what say you?
Claws of the Night.
Kyle's also saying Claws of the Night. Dan.
Frogs version class.
Also, Claws of the Night. Brent.
Claws of the Night.
Sticking with the group. Tiffany, what do you say?
I'm gonna actually have to go away from the group. I'm gonna go with Dreaming of Firemen.
Strategy.
It was a bad strategy. Everyone else gets a point.
Good. Keep them coming.
Our next film is
buddy.
from 1982. The Thing, the John Carpenter classic. Here are your two titles. The first from Denmark, The Horrible Outside, or what I also call is My Life. Or from Norway, Monster in the Cold. Tiffany, what do you say? Horrible Outside or Monster in the Cold?
Monster in the Cold.
Dan?
Monsters of the Midway, Monster in the Cold.
Dan says Monster in the Cold. Kyle, what do you say?
Monster in the Cold.
Will?
What was the other option? Remind me.
The Horrible Outside.
Yeah, let's go with Monster.
Tim? Have you seen The Thing? Do you like it?
Oh, I think it's quite a nice film, I guess. Well, I'm gonna go with the cold, with the monster out there.
Tim's saying Monster in the Cold and Brent. Last
Monster
but
in the-
surely least,
Monster in the Cold.
Monster in the Cold. You all chose Monster in the Cold, which means I got you. Every one of you, I got you. It was fake. Fake, fake, fake.
Well done.
Can I change my answer?
You may not.
Higher.
Dan, you cut that shit out or you'll be up at the TV yourself.
Wait, you didn't do the accent.
I feel like, I'm doing Tim's accent now, I feel. I've switched.
I've seen your work there, Bob.
Maybe you guys are morphing into each other.
This next film is from Alien 3. Merging us will come next Halloween, I'm sure.
A play inside a play.
The next film is from 1992. Alien 3, the sequel to our prize for tonight. Your two titles are from Hungary, The Ultimate Solution is Death, or from Mexico, They Are in Us. Will, what do you say?
Is this another curveball? Oh, that's a good poker face.
I don't know.
Let's go with They're in Us.
Will says They Are in Us. Tim, what do you say?
Yeah, I thought about it, and I think it's the creatures inside of us. Yeah.
They are in us, Tim says. Kyle.
I like they're in us.
Me too.
Ooh.
I like it a lot.
Giggity, giggity.
Tiffany.
Good God.
Come on.
The first one.
Yeah.
Why not the first
Tiffany's
one?
saying the ultimate solution is death, and I agree with
Sure,
her.
why not? Yes.
Dan, what do you say?
The ultimate solution is Dicka.
Quite on brand. Brent, what do you say?
They are in us.
Are they now?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The correct answer was the ultimate solution is death.
Yes.
Dan and
That's
Tiffany
disappointing.
both get points.
This is one of
I
them
can't.
curveballs.
I can't decide which one I like better.
The next film
You
from
guys should have known by his
2004.
laugh after.
From 2004, Saw, the original. And your two titles are from Japan, Pop Goes the Murder, or from Spain, Macabre Game. Will, which do you think it is?
Oh, first again. Let's see your poker face. Macabre.
Will saying Macabre Game. Tim, what do you say?
I'm gonna have to agree. I think it's a bit of a macabre game.
Macabre Game, Tim says. 2 for Macabre Game. Kyle, are you joining them?
Macabre.
Kyle is, in fact, joining them. Brent, Macabre Game or Pop Goes the Murder?
Much like this macabre game.
Brent says Macabre Game. Tiffany, what do you say?
Pop Goes the Murder.
Pop Goes the Murder. The first choice for that one. Dan, are you agreeing with her? Or are you sticking with the pack?
Much like a lot of offenses in 1985 ran up against the Bears defense, a macabre game. God damn it. I would have loved to have kept it together for that one. But
think
my
he's going-
fucking... But my
He's going with they are in us.
Macabre
A
game
little
there,
bit of a
Bob.
reach, Dan. Macabre
No.
Game was correct. Everyone but Tiffany gets a point.
May I just say bang bang?
No, you may not.
Is that all he says? He's got a pull string.
The next film is from 1986, Maximum Overdrive. The Stephen King directed film. The only one they ever let him
Fantastic
do.
movie. Fantastic movie.
Here are your two titles. From Germany, It Started Without Warning. Or from France, Death Drive. Tiffany, what do you say?
Death Drive.
Tiffany says Death Drive. Brent, what do you say?
Dude, oh. Death Drive.
Brent saying Death Drive. Dan, what do you say?
Bragg's 3 for 3 tonight. Death drive there, Bob.
Dan saying Death Drive. Kyle, what say you?
I'll go with Death Drive as well.
Kyle's also saying Death Drive. Will, ball's in your court.
What was the other option?
It Started Without Warning.
It doesn't feel right, but it started without warning.
Will saying It Started Without Warning. Tim, what do you say?
Strategy.
I'm gonna have to disagree with the bunny man. I think it's a death drive.
Tim saying Death Drive. It would behoove you to agree with the Bunny Man more because he just got a point for it. It Started Without Warning was the correct title.
Bollocks.
Mamma mia.
Death Drive was 100% bullshit crafted by me.
Fuck.
It sounded too poignant, you know?
The next film is from 1981. It is the last of this round. As of now, we have a 3-way tie for last place, Kyle, Tiffany, Brent. To move out of that pack and stay alive, you must get this point correct. The film is Evil Dead from 1981. And your two titles are from Denmark, Touch of the Trees, or from Germany, Dance of the Devils. Will, what do you say?
Dance of the Devils.
Will says Dance of the Devils. Tim, do you agree with him this time?
You know, I like Bruce Campbell. It's yes, I think I'll agree. Yes.
Tim saying Dance of the Devils as well. Kyle?
I'll go with the other one.
Touch of the Trees, Kyle says. Brent?
Touch of the Trees.
Touch of the Trees, Brent says. Dan?
I'm gonna have to go with Dance the Devils.
Dan saying Dance of the Devils. Tiffany, what do you say?
Dance of the Devils seems a little too obvious, but I don't know. I'm gonna go with the first one for some reason. I feel it.
Touch of the Trees.
Touching trees.
The three people that needed a point chose the wrong one. So we are once again in a three-way tie for elimination.
Dun,
So
dun,
it
dun.
comes
Did
down
we get
to
a
a
bye on the last
tiebreaker.
one? Yeah.
Yes.
Bounce them all.
I'm going to name a film, and you will all take turns trying to guess what the rating of that film is on Letterboxd. Whoever is furthest away will be eliminated. Your film is from 2004. Broken Lizards Club Dread. Brent, what rating do you think Letterboxd has given it?
3.2.
Brent says 3.2. Kyle, what do you say?
1.5.
1.5, Kyle says. Tiffany, have you seen the film?
I have. I've seen all of theirs.
Have you
I
been
don't know.
to Pina Coladaburg?
I am
That's the
not.
only
I'm
good
afraid
part of the
I
whole movie.
No, I disagree, Kyle.
Let's say 3.3.
3.3.
I like the guess.
The actual rating was 2.7, so Kyle, I'm sad to say, your time with us has ended.
Oh no!
Nice save.
His eyes, where'd they go?
You think there's something wrong with him?
Well, I just want to say thanks for having me, and Club Dread was a shit movie, and people were wrong to give it a chance. Or maybe I'm just comparing it to Super Troopers. But nonetheless, my final thought is that I
Womp, womp.
I think he did that on purpose.
Goodbye,
go.
Kyle.
Did you put him in the TV too?
No, he's not in a TV.
If he
You have
doesn't
to do
press the
quite a
recording, it
bit
won't
to
be.
be put in that TV.
Well, somebody's under my dress.
Even so small, you annoy me so.
Feels a bit like being in a haunted house.
This game is called Multiverse Theater.
Congratulations on making it thus far, but dark trials await. We have 5 players, but we need 4. What to do? What to do? This is Multiverse Theater Turbo Round. I have 10 projects that were never made for one reason or another, of which I will give you a very brief synopsis. Some of these are real, others are 100% bullshit made up by yours truly. You will each tell me if you think each is real or fake.
Is Ty gonna talk anymore?
He's waiting. He's got a Goonies primed and ready.
He's gonna have that one fucking thing that's just gonna blow us all out of the water.
A showstopper, I think is what they call it. First, a Peter Jackson directed Nightmare on Elm Street where Freddy has lost his power and kids go into the dream world and pick on him. Will, real or fake?
Fake.
Tim, real or fake?
I think he made it up.
Dan, real or fake?
I'm gonna have to go fake there, Bob.
Brent, real or fake?
That's real.
Brent says real. Tiffany, real or fake?
Real.
Tiffany says real. Brent and Tiffany both get a point. That was a real project. Second, Michael Myers follows Laurie Strode on her vacation and kills most of the inhabitants of a cruise ship at sea. What the fuck? Will, do you think it's real or fake?
Real.
Will says real. Tim, what do you say?
I'm gonna have to go with fake.
Tim says fake. Dan, real or fake?
Real.
Dan says real. Brent, real or fake?
I'm gonna go fake.
Brent says fake. Tiffany, real or fake?
Fake.
Tiffany says fake. It was fake. Tim, Brent, Tiffany all get a point. The third, a remake of The Exorcist starring Bryan Cranston and Emma Watson, directed by Ron Howard. I went pretty Harry Potter there at the end of that accent. Will, real or fake?
F word.
Will says fake. Tim, what do you say?
Oh, I think it's also a bit fake, yeah.
Tim's saying fake. Dan, what do you say?
Fakery.
Dan says fake. Brent.
All right, fake.
Brent says fake. Tiffany.
Fake.
5 fakes. Everybody gets a point. It was fake. A fourth. A George Romero adaptation of the video game Resident Evil. Staying true to the first game's plot. Dan, what do you say? Real or fake?
Never played it. I gotta go real with this one, though.
Dan saying real. Brent, what do you say?
Real.
Brent says real. Tim, what do you say?
Oh, I think it's something that could have happened. Yes, real.
Tim says real. Tiffany.
Real.
Tiffany says real. Will.
I want to be competitive, but I also don't want to lose, so let's go with real.
Will saying real. It was real. Everybody gets a point.
Oof, good call.
Good choice. Sometimes it pays to stay with the pack.
Yep.
Next, a Leprechaun sequel where he finds a time machine and gets stuck in the Old West. Do you think that shit is real or fake? Tim?
I'm going to have to say it's fake.
Fake, you say?
Isn't there a movie that was made like that?
Will, what do you think?
I'm going to have to say real.
Will saying real. Dan?
As real as it gets.
Dan saying real. Brent?
That's real.
Brent saying real. Tiffany?
I think I've seen that movie, so yes, real.
It is a real project, but none of you have not gotten the point of this game. These are all movies that have never been made.
I thought you had missed it.
It was real.
I
was
feel
real.
like I've seen that movie before, though. I don't know why.
Will gets a point. Dan gets a point. Brent unfortunately gets a point. Tiffany gets another point.
That dirty B word.
For this round right now, Tiffany and Brent are
Love
tied. They
Brent.
both have 5 points. Dan, Tim, and Will, you're all tied for elimination with 3 points apiece.
No.
That's a bit of a bummer.
I am a dirty B word.
Here's the next one. Child's Play meets Nightmare on Elm Street, where Freddy Krueger and Chucky compete to kill the most kids in one night. Do you think that's real or fake? Will?
Sounds like an awful plot that would be real. So let's go with real.
Will saying real. Tim, what do you say?
Well, I think it might be real.
Tim saying real. Dan?
I have to go fake here, Bob.
Dan saying fake. Brent?
I like real.
Brent saying real. Tiffany?
Fake.
Tiffany saying fake. It was real. Will, Tim, and Brent all get a point. The next is a doozy. Sylvester Stallone as Van Helsing tracks Arnold Schwarzenegger as Dracula through World War II-era Europe, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. Tiffany, what do you say?
Fake?
Brett?
Fake.
Dan?
Capicola again, delicious meat, but I'm gonna have to go fake there.
Dan saying fake. Tim?
I also think it's fake. Yeah.
Tim also thinks it's fake. Will, are you going to go with the herd?
So is this like something that could have been written on Reddit, or are we talking like was this pitched
No,
to Hollywood
it's
execs?
it's either something that like actually got pretty close to being made. There was at least some progress made on it, or I made it up.
I think the Coppola is the deflector there. I'm gonna have to go with fake. You know.
Will saying fake. Good logic, and it worked out for you. Everybody gets a point. Okay, the next. A Shining prequel. There Will Be Blood-esque period piece about the beginnings of the Overlook Hotel and the evil that lives in the mountain around it. Tiffany, what do you say?
Oh, that would be a cool movie. Let's go real.
Tiffany saying real. Brent, what do you say?
That's real.
Brent saying real. Dan, what do you say?
They say if it's too good to be true, then it's probably not true. So I'm gonna have to go with fake there.
Dan saying fake. Tim, what do you say?
Oh, I think it could be real.
Tim saying real. Will?
As much as I want it to be real, I think Dick is right on this one. I'm gonna have to go with fake. That's too good to be true.
You are wrong, sir. It was
Son of a
real.
bitch. Son of a bitch.
Tim, Brent,
didn't
and
that get
Tiffany all
made?
get a point.
I know.
Yeah, and it
I
was
love
actually
both
good.
those
it was,
films. Those are like top
yeah.
10, both of those.
I just read about that over the weekend. I was like, God damn it! Like, I want to see that fucking movie. And it was written by the Walking Dead showrunner Glenn. I forget what his last
How
name
did
is.
it not get made?
Danzig.
Jeez.
Because they were making Wolverine 19, the comeback.
Jesus.
They decided to go with Doctor Sleep instead, and they didn't want to do
Yeah.
two
Dr.
shining
Sleep was kind
sequel
of
prequel movies.
mediocre. I liked it, but
Actually-
it wasn't as good as what that sounded like.
I actually knew that.
Dr. Sleep.
A lot of good that knowledge did you get you in that fucking TV, Brent.
You put me here, and it was unjust.
No. Hellraiser versus Halloween, written by
10-time
Clive
winner.
Barker.
Champion.
Bang, bang.
Let me out. Bang, bang.
Hopefully that ends tonight. Will, I'll put you in there with him. Hellraiser versus Halloween, written by Clive Barker and directed by John Carpenter. Real or fake, Tim?
I think that could be real.
Tim saying real. Dan?
I'm in a bit of a hole here. I'm gonna have to go fake.
Dan saying fake. Will?
Let's go with real.
Will saying real. Tiffany?
Fake.
Brent?
Fake.
It was real. John Carpenter and Clive Barker were going to make Hellraiser versus Halloween, but it didn't get made. Will and Tim both get a point. This is our last question for this round, and elimination awaits for one of you. 28 seconds later, the immediate aftermath of the zombie apocalypse, breaking out in London, would have been in 3D. Do you think that's real or fake there, Brent?
Real.
Dan?
Fake.
Tim?
You know, I would have liked to see that. I think it's real.
Will?
You haven't said 3D like ever on this show before. I'm gonna go with real. It feels right.
Will says real. Tiffany, what do you say?
28 seconds later is totally fake.
Fake, Tiffany says. Dan and Tiffany both get points. It was fake.
Yeah.
It's right.
Interesting. Dan, I'm sad to say that your journey ends here. You have been eliminated.
Well, all good things must end, and I'm hope the little lady here can bring home a VHS for the VHS player. We just dusted it off earlier. I'm gonna go get a brat. Come back.
Better put some mustard on it.
I've got a couple grilled onions, couple
Absolutely.
Doritos, banana pepper, relish.
This game is called The Imposter.
4 down. 3 to go. 3 imposters. I'll name a film and 3 actors, one of which who is not in that film. You'll tell me who that imposter is. Each of you will have separate questions, and you are all capable of receiving 2 points this round. Will, would you like a film from 2007 or 2000?
07, please.
2007, and this film is just for you, Will. Trick or Treat. Your cast is Tony Todd, Anna Paquin, and Brian Cox. Who was not in Trick or Treat?
I haven't seen this film. Let's go with Brian Cox.
Will saying Brian Cox, and it is incorrect. Tony Todd was not in that movie.
Brian Cox, former linebacker for the Chicago Bears.
Is that true?
Very true. He middle linebacker. He wore a little.
That's fucking
neck
awesome.
thingy. Oh yeah.
He wore a what?
He had this distinctive neck protector that no one else in the NFL has ever worn since or before. Look it up. Yeah, Brian with a Y. Yep.
All right, Tim, do you want a film from 2000 or 1999?
Let's go with 2000.
2000, your film is The Gift. Your cast is Gary Cole, Richard Jenkins, J.K. Simmons. Who was not in The Gift?
I'm gonna have to go with Richard.
Richard Jenkins, you say?
Yes.
That's correct. Tim gets a point.
Fully.
Richard Jenkins was not in that film. Terrific film, by the way, if you ever get a chance to see it. Brett, do you want a film from 1999 or 2003?
99.
1999, your film is Lake Placid. Your cast is Betty White, Bridget Fonda, Marcia Gay Harden. Who was not in Lake Placid, Brent?
Bridget Fonda.
Incorrect. Marcia Gay Harden was not in Lake Placid. Tiffany, do you want a film from 2003 or 1998?
Let's go 98.
1998, your film is Fallen. Your cast is James Gandolfini, John Goodman, and Ed O'Neill. Who was not in Fallen?
Fallen? James Gandolfini?
Incorrect. James Gandolfini was in Fallen. Ed O'Neill was not.
I haven't actually seen that one.
Okay, Will, do you want a film from 2003 or 2017?
Let's go 2003.
2003, your film is The Haunted Mansion. Your cast is Terrence Stamp, Matthew Modine, and Jennifer Tilly. Who do you think was not in The Haunted Mansion?
Terrence Stamp.
Incorrect. Matthew Modine was not in The Haunted Mansion. Hey, Tim, do you want a film from 2017 or 1991?
2017.
2017, your film is Get Out, the Jordan Peele film, the first he directed. Your cast is Keegan-Michael Key, Stephen Root, and James Cromwell. Who was not in Get Out?
Keegan-Michael Key.
Incorrect. James Cromwell was not in Get Out. No point.
It's unfortunate.
Tiffany, do you want a film from 1991 or 2001?
2001.
2001, your film is Valentine. Your cast is Jamie Presley, Denise Richards, and Katherine Heigl.
Is that like a chick flick? I don't even think I've seen that one. Valentine? Let's go with Katherine Heigl.
She's worse.
Incorrect. Jamie Presley was not in Valentine.
Dang it. I haven't even
Brent,
seen that one.
your film is from 1991, and it is Silence of the Lambs. Your cast is George Romero, Lance Henriksen, Chris Isaac. Who is not in Silence of the Lambs?
Lance Hendrickson.
That's correct. Brent gets a point. Brent and Tim both got 1 point, which means Will and Tiffany, it's time for a tiebreaker for elimination. Will and Tiffany, it's come down to this. You'll be guessing the budget of a film. Whoever is closer will survive. Whoever's further away will be eliminated. The film is from 1984.
Ty's
Ghostbusters. Hi, Ty. Ghostbusters, the original. Tiffany, how much do you think it cost to make Ghostbusters?
$35 million.
Great guess there, Bob.
Tiffany says 35 million. Will, what do you say?
What year did that come out again?
1984.
84. I'm going to go with the bottom half and say 33 million.
33 million. The correct answer was 30 million. Sad to say that the dreams of Dan and Tiffany are over.
Dang it.
But you guys played
That was a
handedly.
good guess.
Came all the way through round 5.
I really had no clue. I was just playing with strategy there.
That was a good guess. Good job.
Please stick around. You will be needed soon. Actually, right now, hold on. Let's get into this next game.
This game is called Dreamcast.
Down to our last 3 contestants. Don't you think it's just so dreamy? Speaking of dreams, this is Dreamcast. I have a remake of a film that you 3 will be recasting the roles of with any actor living or dead. Once you make your choices, your picks will be voted on by your dearly departed peers, of which we have 3 left now. The film we will be recasting tonight is Poltergeist, the Steven Spielberg shadow-directed ghost caper. The roles we'll be recasting are Steve Freeling, originally played by Craig T. Nelson, Diane Freeling, originally played by Jo Beth Williams, Tangina, originally played by Zelda Rubinstein, Reverend Henry Kane, originally played by Julian Beck, and Carol Ann Freeling, originally played by Heather O'Rourke. Tim, you're new to the show. Who would you like to cast as Steve Freeling, the patriarch of the Freeling family?
Maybe Steven, what's his name? Steve Carell.
Steve Carell, Tim says. Brent, what do you say?
I like Gandolfini for this.
Who?
James Gandolfini.
James Gandolfini.
Make him say it right.
Reanimated corpse of James Gandolfini.
It said living or dead.
You didn't say the name right.
I was specifying the dead version.
So you want a specific zombie version?
Dan wanted us all to know that James Gandolfini has passed on from this realm. And Will, who are you casting as Steve Freeling?
Let's go with Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd, Will says. Okay, Diane Freeling. Tim, what do you say?
Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton will be in this film, thanks to Tim. Brent, what do you say, Diane Freeling? Who is James Gandolfini's beau?
Christina Applegate.
Christina Applegate.
Gotta put her on.
Will, who is Paul Rudd's wife?
Paul Rudd's wife. Let's go with Drew Barrymore.
Drew motherfucking Barrymore. Okay, Tim, Tangina. Originally played by Zelda Rubinstein.
Can we bring back Dakota Fanning?
Dakota Fanning. Yes, we can bring her back. Thanks to you. Brent, what do you say?
Betty White.
Betty White plays the paranormal hotspot of a woman. Will, what do you say?
So I've seen this film, but I have no idea what character we're talking about.
She's the short woman.
Saves the house.
The dark glasses.
Oh,
Go into the light.
what is the lady that plays Velma and Scooby-Doo? That lady.
Linda Cardellini. Cardinelli.
I love that you know that name. Thank you.
Ghirardelli.
If the host can't say a name right, I don't see why I have to.
Brent, Reverend Henry Kane. Who are you casting? The villain of the piece.
Let's go with who am I thinking of? Christopher Walken.
Ooh, a good choice.
Christopher Walken. Damn fine choice. Will, what are you saying?
Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins. Tim, Reverend Harry Kane.
I'm gonna have to go with the actor from the Ernest movies.
Lovely choice.
I like that.
Jim Varney.
Great choice, Vern.
That's the one. Yes.
Okay, our last role that we'll be casting is the child, Carol Ann. Carol Ann. Carol Ann. Tim, who are you casting as the child?
They're here.
I'd like that to be Joaquin Phoenix and.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Fuck, just
Reanimated
give
corpse.
the game to him.
Is a choice. Brent, who are you casting?
I want my girl, circa Macaulay Culkin.
Anna.
No, I want Macaulay Culkin,
Okay,
circa
Macaulay.
my girl.
What is it? Anna what?
Plumsky.
Plums, yeah. Macaulay Culkin, Brent says, Will, this is your last casting. This may save your
cast
game.
this out there, and I don't know the lady's name, but Matilda.
The girl that played Matilda.
Indeed.
The little girl that played Matilda. Great choice.
Now we come to the judging. Those dearly departed among us, Dan, Tiffany, Ty, you'll be choosing who wins each round. For the first round, we have Steve Freeling, originally played by Craig T. Nelson. Tim says it should be Steve Carell. Brent says James Gandolfini. Will says Paul Rudd. Which way are we going?
I'm personally gonna have to lean toward the choice of Gandolfini. That's just my opinion.
Tiffany, do you agree?
I don't. I like Carell.
Okay, Ty, what do you say?
Rudd,
Please don't say Rudd.
Carell.
Tim gets a first point. Okay,
This
for
is gonna-
Diane.
thi- This is gonna reek of bias.
I'm definitely not
Diane
getting a point on
Freeling,
this next
originally
one. My
played
fucking
by.
up. Go ahead.
Diane Freeling, originally played by Jo Beth Williams. Tim says it should be Dolly Parton. Brent says Christina Applegate. Will says Drew Barrymore.
I personally love Dolly Parton in almost anything.
Tiffany, which way we going?
I'm gonna have to go Christina Applegate on it.
Ty, what do you think?
Dolly Parton.
Tim gets another point. Our third cast, Tangina, originally played by Zelda Rubinstein. Tim thinks it should be Dakota Fanning. Brent thinks Betty White. Will thinks it should be Linda Cardinelli, but he doesn't even know her goddamn name.
I don't know any of these people's names.
Dad, Tiff, Ty, our panel, what do you think?
Linda goes to the deli.
Betty.
Ty, what do you say?
Linda.
Will gets a point.
Woo!
Okay, for Reverend Henry Kane, originally played by Julian Beck. Tim says it should be Jim Varney. Brett says Christopher Walken. Will says Anthony Hopkins. What say you three? The Gaggle.
I say Varney there, Bob.
I also like Barney as well.
Going with Varney. Ty, do you agree?
I do.
Tim gets another
Yeah,
point.
that's a sweep.
Carol Ann Freeling, originally played by Heather O'Rourke. Tim says it should be Joaquin Phoenix. Brent says Macaulay Culkin. Will says that girl named Matilda, of which we don't know her name. What do you guys say?
Walking Matilda.
I ask you to take this seriously. Someone's life is on the line.
I'm biased against people in small TVs. I'm being honest.
So, what are you picking?
Walking the Matilda. I'm walking. I was making a childhood song reference that must have flown over everybody,
Yes, whoosh.
including the
Whoosh,
viewing
as the kids
audience's
say.
heads. That was a whooshing sound. Was the title of a previous episode, I believe.
Goonies.
Tiffany, what do you say? Oh, you bitch. You don't have any points yet, Brent. You can't get rid of points you don't have. Oh, you've been eliminated. God damn it. You've played me at my own game, you bastard. Well, I guess we're going to our final round with Will and Tim. The era of Brent is over.
Bang, bang.
By my own hand. By my
Brent-
own hand.
Brent was who he thought he was.
That's what's happened. You quit after you lost. That's what happened.
Sore losers, every one of you. Sore losers.
Sore winners, some of them.
That's the grace of a 10-time champ.
This game is called the pitch.
One final round.
Tim, best of luck to you, brother.
Yes, good luck to you too.
You have each come a long way, but you have one last test before that VHS is yours.
Okay, well,
Like last round, your damned peers will be your judges and will ultimately determine your fate.
Oh, Lord.
This is the pitch. I have one single film title. You will each pitch a plot that would match that title. Whomever wins the support of the panel wins the game. Who would like to go first?
Rochambeau for it?
oh, I'd like the Bunny Man to go first.
What's Rochambeau for it?
We'll have Will go first. Tim, I must
Oh.
ask you to remove your headphones.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Will,
Yes.
the
Probably can't hear
title
me
of
too
the
well in there.
Will, the title of your film is Yikes.
That's the title? That's
Yikes.
amazing.
Dan,
Yes.
Tiffany, and Ty are ready to hear your pitch.
Give me just
I
a
need a
moment.
cigar and a bigger table.
Just give me a moment. I'm building here. I'm building.
Yeah, so far it sucks.
Yeah, I got other meetings today there, Bob.
All right, you guys know the fable that there's always razor blades in children's candy. So it starts out. It's actually it's not a full length film. It's 89 minutes. So it's technically feature, but it's not really a feature. It's about 15 minutes of credits and like a 10-minute title sequence. And it just builds you up, right? And then you just come to this beautiful Midwestern town that we're all familiar with. And imagine yourself, you've got a beautiful wife and 3 little girls, just like myself. And we're going out trick-or-treating. We just moved into this brand new house, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's literally like every other Halloween movie you've ever seen. There's fucking kids in every costume that you could possibly imagine, especially all the ones like Hocus Pocus, because that's trending right now. And we're walking down the street, and little do we know that there's a yikes in our Ikes. Okay? And it's a razor blade.
That is an extremely small.
And so we go to the first place, and it's terrifying. It's absolutely freaking terrifying, you know. And I'm like, honestly, I don't know if I want to go up there, but you know, since I'm the only male, we go up there. I support them. Actually, the youngest one stays back. So it's just typical trick-or-treating for a while. You know what? And then next thing you know, we realize the eldest ran off, and we're a little spooked about that. We're trying to text her. We're not getting any response. And we keep going with the 2 youngest. And it's a typical night, but it starts to get a little spooky. You know, it's a lot of moisture in there, a lot of fog, very scary. A couple jump scares. There's like a teenagers that jump out and scare my kids, and I about have to beat them up. You know what I mean? And we keep moving. And then we
hold on. What? This film stars you and your family?
Indubitably. It's
Proceed.
where I write all my films from. It's from actual factual, you know, here. And we get that terrible call.
The Bears lost.
And it's from Megan. Or no, we get the phone call and we're excited. We think it's Megan. We're like, oh my God, we finally found her. And it's not. It's the coroner. And he says, yikes. There was
Which one of your children is dead?
I hate that I just wrote this, but yeah. And it's a very terrible ending, you know.
Okay, indulge me for a moment. Your film, Yikes, is about your daughter dying.
No, it's about someone else's daughter's dying.
Okay,
but
Yikes.
Yes, so Yikes ends with a terrible scene of, you know.
No, we don't. We don't know.
Fuck
That's that 90th minute.
Fuck you, Ty. Yeah, I wish I would have chosen a different plot line here. But yeah, it's
restart.
You know, it's just like credits are over me driving to the hospital, and it's just terrible. It's just fucking terrible.
That would be quite the tragedy.
Yeah, it's literally fucking 80 minutes of fucking bliss and just like jump scares, and then the last 9 minutes are complete trauma.
Just drama, yes. Melodrama.
No,
that.
trauma, not drama. That is trauma.
It's very meta.
Yikes! All right, Tim, you can bring your headphones back on now if you can hear me. Tim, welcome back. Are you ready to pitch a plot?
I saw the Bunny Man. He was moving his hands around a bit.
It was horrifying.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely horrifying.
He was very animated.
It seemed like everyone was having a bit of a laugh.
He is the walrus.
I'm going to give you a title, and you must craft a plot to fit that title. The title of your film is Yikes.
Yoicks. That's it.
Yikes. I need a plot, a cast, a location, a setting, anything.
Yikes! Of course. Yes, it's the American government in modern times, and let's see. The problem is everything, I guess. Yeah, seems like can't quite get anything right. Perhaps all the rich people rule over the poor people. And
so it's a documentary, you say?
I think it may be. Yes, something along those lines. Yes.
So 2 documentaries.
Is it too
God
real?
Damn it. Mine was a mockumentary, just to clarify there.
I just wiped off my mustache.
Mine's starting
Me
to
too.
sweat. Mine's starting to sweat.
Tim,
like the
anything
dress
else to
man's
add
cool.
to your pitch?
Yes, it's starring Lawrence Fishburne. Yes,
He's the narrator of this documentary?
Lawrence Fishburne is he's the lead. He's the star. He's also O.J. Simpson is a co-starring.
He plays,
Yes.
or OJ is in it with him.
Yes.
Okay. Speaking of American decline. Okay.
The new Bronco.
I think
Yikes.
they're both excellent. I think they're both excellent actors.
John, you've been gone for a while. Maybe you aren't ahead on relevant events that may have happened in those men's lives. At least one of them.
I'm not sure. I mean, I think
What-
they're both excellent. Top
What
of
was
the
the
top.
last thing you saw O.J. Simpson do?
He scored that touchdown against the San
Right.
Francisco 49ers.
Of course, there's been some developments.
You mean like he moved out of state?
Yes, he's skipped out on his state several times. Yes.
Well, you
All
gotta
right.
trade teams.
Yikes by Tim. All right, panel. It's up to you. Which one of these gentlemen is our winner?
Well, OJ carving through defenses and a little girl's mouth being carved up by a Mike and Ike's.
Oh my God.
It's a
Mass
tough
back
decision.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Both of them
Dicko,
definitely
watch
make
yourself
me.
there, brother.
Both of them definitely make me say yikes. Very yikes-ish type of plats. I'm gonna go ahead and let the little lady here talk her thoughts out while I make my ultimate decision there.
Oof. Just because the idea of child mutilation is not cool to me, I'm gonna have to go with Larry Fishburne and OJ.
OJ also
Child
mutilated
mutilation? That's not what it was.
Mutilated
It was
a woman,
dramatic representation of what you could fear, you know?
Will's still making his case. Ty, how do you feel?
Well, I would say that the rabbit's first act razor blade should have been used on my wrists halfway through the pitch.
Doc!
And that John should have referenced his own material and sought help.
We can see who the Simon Cowell
cut.
of this panel is.
Ty, what round did you get knocked out again?
The Goonies round.
Indubitably.
So, time is of the essence here. Who is our champion? Our final Halloween champion.
I'm gonna have to go with both of them horrifying scenarios, but the one that hits closer to my heart will have to be the decline of America. That will regarding OJ. I hope that we can cut him at the cutting room floor.
Dad's saying Tim's yikes. Tiffany, what do you say?
Tim.
Tim's. Ty's, what do you say?
Isn't it irrelevant?
It is not relevant, but I'd still like to hear.
We'll say Tim.
Tim.
Sweeps it.
We have a champion. Will, you came so close. The closest you've ever been, but I know there is a tape in your future. Or
possibly.
a TV set. We have a champion. All hail Tim.
I just want to say you put up a good fight, Bunny Man.
I tried.
I like your hat.
I tried.
It's silly.
Wait till you
It's
hear the
fun.
rerun.
Congratulations.
Like, I had an
Congratulations.
immaculate pitch there until it fell off in the final act, you know.
Not Brent. Not Brent.
Not Brent.
Brent.
You had that long credit sequence. I was hoping that you'd save your bacon there, but
I forgot the kicker scene. You guys, I forgot the kicker scene after the credits. I forgot.
Yeah, I was waiting on that actually, the whole pitch, and
I wish
my
I
throat,
could.
my throat got a little
Have
dry.
a little kicker,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Tim will not only be going home with Aliens on VHS, for beating Brent, he also gets our first double set. Titanic. 3 3 VHSs in one night. Our new champion. Tim, how do you feel?
Well, I feel a bit good, I guess. Yeah, probably better than all the gold records.
Feels good to be
Yes,
alive.
I agree. Film war is much more important than all those gold records you've got on your walls, or your ex-wife has now. Follow
Yeah,
us
she
on
did.
Twitter at The Film War, Instagram at The Film War Pod, and on our subreddit at r/Film War. We also have a Facebook page if you still have one of those, and a website, thefilmwar.com. You can watch all of our episodes on YouTube, and I hope you are, because some of these bits probably aren't making too much sense to you if you're just listening to the audio. Rate us, share us, kiss us, thrill us. I do have to apologize for the slippage of my accent all night. Have a happy Halloween. We'll see you next week for another episode. Until then, any final thoughts?
Bears.
The Bears.
Where'd the men in the dress go?
Godspeed.
Yeah.
Filmwar.
A 1,000-yard stare production.